Welcome back to For Your Heart and Home. My name is Dee Dee. Welcome into my kitchen. Today I'm working on just a few things that need to get done in my kitchen. There's no real theme. I just had a few items that I had to take care of to keep us going throughout the week. It is a typical summer day here where we are, and it is super hot. So I basically wanted to be in the kitchen for a limited amount of time, but I also wanted to be as efficient as possible. I started by working on dinner. So I helped myself by thinking ahead and taking out the meat that I needed to defrost. And I knew I was going to be working with dried beans, so I went ahead and put those to soak for several hours prior to starting the dinner prep. So I started by putting my beans in water and getting that going. I was working on a Jamaican-style dish called stew peas, and so I had to get the beans cooking. That takes about an hour because I'm starting from dry, and even though I've soaked it, I have to give the beans enough time to cook through. So I'm starting with my beans in water and they're cooking on the stove, and in the meantime I'm going to marinate this chicken. So I use the entire chicken when I do this kind of cooking because it's enough food for my family for at least 2 days. And I like to batch cook like this because it eliminates one meal that I have to make the following day. So here I am just seasoning my chicken as I would like. I'm using salt, I'm using a little black pepper, I'm using paprika, there's an all-purpose seasoning there, and there's a little bit of red pepper flakes. Additionally, I'm using thyme. So those are the dried herbs that I'm using, but I'm also using my Jamaican green sauce, as you'll see off to the side. You guys, if you've watched any of my videos where I'm seasoning any kind of meat, I love to use the Jamaican style green sauce. It just adds a level of authenticity to the dish, and it's just like the chef's kiss. And when I don't use it, you can definitely taste the difference in flavor. So this is something that I adopted several months ago, and it's something that I've continued to make month after month because I need to make sure that my meat is well seasoned, and this is just the finishing touch. So while my beans are cooking on the stove, I'm going to marinate the chicken. I'm going to season it up and put it back in the refrigerator so that it can absorb all those herbs and spices. So I had a few bananas that I needed to use up in the kitchen today, and that's what I'm going to be doing right now. I'm taking these bananas and I'm turning them into banana muffins. Muffins have been our go-to for the last several weeks because they're quick, they're simple, they're easy, and my children can help themselves to them whenever they need a snack. It's summertime, and you know guys, the kids are snacking all the way through the day, and so whatever I can do to make it easier for them to just grab and go, that's what I'm leaning on right now. With this recipe, I am using freshly milled flour. I've also eliminated the use of the eggs by using a flaxseed egg. For this recipe, I'm using 2 tablespoons of flaxseed. I have put that in 2 tablespoons of water, and I'm mixing that around and giving that time to bloom. When I'm ready, I'm going to add that to the mix, and that will pull the batter together to make these muffins. If you would like a recipe for what I'm working on here, I will include that in the description box. Please also check the description box where you'll find a link to my blog. I am doing my best to update the blog because I want to include all my recipes that include freshly milled flour. I'm also updating the blog to include these egg-free recipes that you've seen me do here on YouTube. So if you have any special requests, if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below to let me know what you need and how I can help you. So while I'm working in the kitchen today, I had a thought, and it's something that has been on my mind for quite some time, so I thought I would share that with you here. So one of the things that we get inundated with here on social media and just in our everyday life is this desire to be better. And this can be motivating for some, but I also feel like it can be damaging to others. And I'm just here to tell you that whatever it is you're doing, I see you. We're all trying to be the best parents we can be, but I want you to know that you are enough. You are enough because you were made with a purpose. Your role as a parent right now, wherever you are on the spectrum of being a parent, I want you to know that you are enough. You're not defined by what you see on social media. And I tell people over and over again that social media is staged, and you can easily fall into this trap where you're trying to reach the next level because you want to be just like so-and-so, this influencer, and you want to be like this person. But I encourage you to step into who you are, and I encourage you to understand that who you are is enough. You were chosen for this journey, and there is a reason why you were chosen for this journey. So as parents, we need to tap into who we are and understand that we are enough. So don't get wrapped up in this place where you're being defined by what you see on social media. Perfect homes with endless checklists. You are unique. Your wiring is unique. Your personality is unique. And your capacity is divine by design. So please, I'm here to just encourage all of us as we go through this journey. We can become overwhelmed. We get so inundated with so much information. We don't know if we should go left or right. I encourage you to take a breath. And I encourage you, if you need to, say it out loud many times if necessary, that you are enough. And remember, you're not called to be the perfect parent. God calls you to faithfulness. So that doesn't mean you need to do everything flawlessly. It just means you need to show up with heart and commitment because He honors your effort, not just your outcomes. The way I'm growing as a parent, as a mom, as a wife, and the way you're growing in your journey will not always align. We're not called to be aligned with each other. We are called to be aligned with God, and He will lead us where we need to go. So rest in the truth that who you are is more important than what you do. It is so easy to get wrapped up in what other people are doing, and we'll start comparing ourselves to what they're doing, and you need to match them in this way, and your house needs to look like this. You need to buy this product because this influencer is using this. And it's really easy to get trapped down this rabbit hole, and you can become overwhelmed. Take a step back and think about the phrase that comparison is really the theft of your peace. Don't measure your home, your family, or your rhythm against someone else's highlight reel. You are assigned to walk a specific path, and you need to walk that path with grace. I, like other mothers, especially when I was a new mother, wanted to know all the things. I was watching all the videos on YouTube I could find. I was reading all the blogs because I wanted to do motherhood right. Now, several years later, I have abandoned a lot of the things that I started out with, not because they were necessarily bad ideas, but they weren't serving me and they weren't really serving my family. I, now mother of 3 for 13 years, have seen where I made mistakes in the past, and I am working daily to correct those mistakes and to impart knowledge to my children that I may not have had, because I want them to continue to grow, and I want to shape them and to shape their thinking in a way that is empowering to them. So I try to do a lot of hard work for myself, and I try to do a lot of hard work with my children and my husband, because we want to build a bond and a relationship that is focused on hard work and not hard work. What does that mean? It means I want them to be empathetic. I want them to understand. I want them to be able to put themselves in another person's position so that they can do the work that I believe our world needs today. We need more people who are selfless, and we need more people who think of others before themselves. We have enough examples of selfish people and enough examples of people who are self-focused. And so I'm trying to break that cycle. And we spend a lot of time doing that heart work. And I hope that they will take that into adulthood and impart that in other circumstances outside of our home. So that is not to say we can't take time for self-care. Self-care is very important and very high on my list, just as it is or it should be for others, because if you're not taking care of yourself, then you're no use to anyone else around you, whether that be your spouse, whether that be your children, or if anyone else that you're taking care of. Self-care is important, but for me, self-care is different than being self-focused. There are times when you have to put the desires and the needs of others aside to focus on yourself. So I understand that. But once again, I am distinctively making it clear that I am talking about self-care and not being self-focused. The last point I want to make about the concept that you are enough is that whatever you're doing as a homemaker, if that is what you're called to do right now, is that you're not doing it alone. God partners with you in every task that you're doing, whether you're making meals, managing the chaos of home, or just waiting on answers. You are never truly alone. His strength is made perfect in your weakness. Sometimes we have to remind ourselves that yes, we are enough. What you're doing is enough. Enough for you, enough for your family, and enough for the position that you're called to be, which right now for many of us, especially if you're listening to this right now, is to be a homemaker. And while this may not have been the path you have seen for yourself when you were growing up, or maybe it was, whatever you're called to do right now, do it well, do it to the best of your ability, but understand that you are not doing it alone. I am excited to share this next recipe. So several months ago, we gave up using oats in our family, and when we took that out of our diet, we did not have something immediately to replace that. And so we have gone, and I've experimented with different things I found in the grocery store to replace the oats, specifically to replace oatmeal, and haven't found anything just yet. So recently I stumbled across Kamut puffs, and I've been using them to make granola, which replaces the oats in the recipe for granola. I'm really excited to find this because when we took oats out of our diet, we took away oatmeal and we took away granola, which were two big things that we relied on heavily. And so I'm really excited to be able to reintroduce granola back to my children, and they have loved this recipe from day one. This is maybe my third or fourth time making it, and they truly do enjoy it. What I love about making this granola is that it's very simple, and it's very similar to making granola with oats. You simply swap out the oats for the Kamut puffs, and I started here with about 3 cups of Kamut puffs, and I'm going to use that to make some granola today. So you're going to see me working with the traditional flavors that you might find in granola. I'm putting in some Kamut puffs, I'm putting in some cinnamon, I chopped up some nuts, and I'm going to put that into the oven to bake for a short period of time, just to toast up the puffs. And then I'm going to take it out and cool it down completely. And once I do that, then I can add in my raisins and my chocolate chips, etc. Now, I will include in the description box a link to this recipe. If you're interested in trying this, it's delicious, really delicious, and it's something that my kids can snack on all summer long. And I know it has a lot of nutrients that their bodies need. So I definitely give this recipe a thumbs up. Another thing that was exciting for me when I was making this recipe is that I finally was able to use my vanilla extract that I've been working on for months now. I will link the video where I showed how I made this vanilla extract, and it tasted wonderful. So if you're interested in making vanilla extract, I will show you the video that you can watch to show you what I did. And if you start now, you can have it ready in the holiday season to gift to family and friends. I know for sure that I'm going to start another batch as soon as possible so that I can have it ready for the baking season come the end of the year. So I didn't list all the ingredients, but I will have those in the description box below. Simply, I'm just going to mix these all together. Then I'm going to bake it in the oven for a few minutes, after which I'll remove it from the oven, cool it down completely, and I will add the other ingredients that I do not want to melt, for example, the chocolate chips. I store this in my refrigerator after it has completely cooled, and the children just help themselves to it when they need to. But this could probably store fine on the counter for a few days. The problem with storing it on the counter right now, especially in this summertime, is that it's really, really hot. And so the chocolate chips, for example, might start to melt, and that just ruins the whole thing. Well, maybe it doesn't. Who doesn't like melted chocolate? But if you want your individual pieces to remain intact, I would suggest storing it in the refrigerator. And I also suggest making small batches each time. That way you're not overrun with too much granola all at once. But we use this quite a bit, and we go through this quite quickly because my children really do enjoy this. So it was a really hot day on this day that I was filming, and we were just not in the mood for anything super heavy. And so I quickly made some mango smoothie for us to enjoy, and boy, was it delicious. So if you've heard me talk about my grocery shopping hauls once a month, I always try to pick up some frozen fruit that we can rely heavily on during the latter parts of the month when we've used up all of our fresh produce. And so I try to save those frozen fruits for smoothies, and today was just a perfect day to get some smoothies going. So I'm making this mango smoothie, and it's really just mangoes. Sometimes I mix other fruits in, but the children just wanted mangoes today. And so I put the mangoes in. I used lemonade as my base so I can blend it all together, and I also used some blue agave to sweeten it up just a bit. You can use more, you can use less, you can use sugar, or you can use any other sweetener of your choice. And so I'm just blending this up quickly so that we can enjoy a quick treat in the middle of the day. So like I said before, my time in the kitchen today was very limited, and I wanted to be as efficient as possible. Once I was finished with the granola, I wanted to cut up some fruit so that my children had easy access to them. I started by cutting up this half of a watermelon, and I also processed through 2 pineapples that I needed to take care of. So by the time I was done cutting up all the fruit, my muffins were ready and cooled, and so I'm just transferring them to my container so that I can cover them over. Again, I love making these muffins because it's so quick and easy for my children to just help themselves. It's summer, so the less time I can spend in this hot kitchen, the better. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Once again, my name is Dee Dee. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel to help me grow in this space. If there's anything I can do for you, any way I can encourage you, feel free to leave a comment down below and let me know how you're doing. Thanks for being here once again. I'll catch you in the next one.